start the recording. So tonight's Zoom call is kind of going to be laid back. I haven't, because I was thinking it was going to be tomorrow, I haven't put together a bunch of stuff, but I kind of have some things that I wanted to talk about that more so kind of personal development for you in your life and business related today. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. So I posted a while ago that I was going to go through and do EMDR, which is kind of, it's like a counseling therapy style where, I can't remember what it stands for, like electromagnetic desensitization, something or other. And it works with like your eyes and ears. And I haven't gotten into that part about it. I'm just kind of doing the counseling part right now. And it's really cool for me to go through this because it doesn't just affect me in my life, it affects me in so many different areas. And so, I mean, all of us have something that we've gone through one time or another. All of us have, you know, worries of maybe I'm not good enough, or, you know, I wish I could do this better, or, you know, and people that are very driven usually look for other places to, you know, a lot of people that are, most Beachbody coaches are people that are driven because other people are content with their 9 to 5. You know, that's, I'm going to go and I'm going to do my job and I'm going to be done with it. But people that want more, people that feel like they should be doing more and know that they have more potential in them, are going to seek out more things. So that's why most of our coaches are people just like you that are very driven. I mean, you don't have to get on this team call at 7 o'clock at night. There's so many other things that you could be doing. But you're here because you want to grow and you want to learn. So, you know, there's just so many thoughts that, you know, and it can be so many different ways of things that you just feel that you're either inferior or you're not good enough or you wish you were better. And so today when I was talking to her, she kind of had me write out everything. And me, I have a lot of anxiety over things that I can't control. And, you know, I worry a lot, and it kind of like eats me up inside. And I come across as really happy and positive, but it comes across in a way that I am often like questioning my husband, like, are you sure you're not going to get sick of me? And, you know, I just need reassured all the time. And I know that I come across as very confident, but and having the eating disorders and stuff in the past, it's really something that I battle a lot with just feeling like, and I just made a post like before we get on here, just feeling like I deserve these things in my life. And, you know, it's just kind of like a struggle with yourself, like, yeah, like I do deserve this, and I have worked hard for this, and I don't need somebody to tell me that I'm good enough. I am enough. So it was kind of cool. And, you know, I don't know if there's something that you're struggling with that this may help you, but what she had me do is kind of pinpoint like what it is that constant thing in your head. If there's something that you think like, I wish I could do this better, or I wish this was different, or, you know, I wish whatever, something that you constantly think about a lot in your head, or if you're constantly comparing yourself to others, think about that and kind of think about where it started. And go ahead and I'm hearing some feedback. I gotcha. I muted you. Okay, so so for me, mine was like anxiety and just kind of feeling like I wasn't good enough. So she had me go back through and say, when do you think that started? And I said, honestly, like probably like 4th grade. I remember growing up and we were really broke. We grew up on a budget. We would be able to go school shopping the beginning of the year at Gabriel Brothers, which is like a knockoff, like Marshalls. Like you might, I know Trisha knows, yeah, you might find a shirt with 3 sleeves, and you know, and I remember we got like maybe a $90 budget per kid. You can get a lot of stuff at Gabe's, but and that was all we got for the year. And I mean, you wouldn't think that like a 4th grader would worry so much, but I just remember thinking like, I wish I had those shoes, or oh my gosh, I wish I had this, you know, American Eagle stuff, and just constantly comparing myself to other people. And I remember it started, honestly, like in 4th grade. So she had me go through, and whatever you guys feel like you worry about, think about, when did that start? You know, when did you first start feeling inadequate in whatever area that was? And then what she had us do was, you know, okay, so that was like when it first started. Now think about kind of like graduation right before you go to college. You know, what in that time what did you feel stressed about? What did you feel anxious about? What did you feel inadequate about? And kind of write it down. And you can write it down in first person or third person. If you want to say, you know, April felt that, like, and for me, I was talking about, I didn't even seek out the possibility of playing sports in college because I knew that I was not going to have enough time to work, to play sports, and to get good grades, because good grades were really, really important to me. And I also was stressed about trying to save up a bunch of money before I went to school to be able to pay for things, because I kind of was on my own. My parents weren't paying for college. They weren't paying for my apartment. They weren't paying for anything. So, you know, I had all the stress. And so, you know, she had me write down everything I stressed about. And then she had me think about a time where I started feeling, for me, when did I again start feeling inadequate, you know, in my college years? What kind of, and tell me about the situation. And just honestly writing it down like it was like a diary and like a journal. And I'm telling you this because it helped me so much today. I cried a lot. I cried a lot when I was there today. And I just feel so good. Like it was like, I was like an emotional wreck, but it just was so freeing. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about this because we talk to women all the time about loving the skin you're in and being happy with yourself. And I want you to make sure that you're focusing on really listening to the words that you're saying to other people, and know that you deserve to hear those things to say to yourself. And then what she had me do was go through and say, okay, so what did she say? What was the consequence of you feeling that way? So for me, it was like I felt like I wasn't good enough. I had a boyfriend that made me kind of like beg for him to want to be with me, yada, yada. What was the consequence? Well, the consequence was I remember that was when I started my eating disorder. I remember that was when I truly felt like I was worthless. You know, that was, you know, so consequences were, you know, just I jumped into another relationship that I really didn't like the guy just because I wanted to feel comforted and feel like somebody wanted me. And so then what she had me do is go back through and like circle a bunch of the things that stood out to you, a bunch of like the feelings. And then what she had you do was, once you circled those things, what one thought comes to your mind? And write that down, like kind of like in the margin of the page right there. And so for me, like I circled something like I focused on materialistic things like in elementary school, and I felt, you know, inadequate. And my one thing that I thought of was, why can't I just have what so-and-so has or something? And then later on it got to be like, why am I not enough? And why can't I just feel loved? And so it was a lot of these things coming back to just not feeling like I was worthy of things and not feeling like I was enough. And so yours may be very different than mine, but I think it's just really important to kind of think about, like, what is that ongoing thing that you tend to think about a lot in your life? And what do you kind of say a lot to yourself that if that was no longer in your head, how free would you feel? If you didn't think that every day, how free would you feel? You know, and so when she started talking to me, she was like, who decides that you're not enough? You know, where are you getting this that you think that you're not enough? And, you know, I don't know if you're spiritual, and honestly, I have been struggling a lot with that because it's something that's important to me, and I haven't been going to church, and there's just like a huge hole in that part of me too. And so she's very spiritual, and so she was talking to me about, you know, God doesn't make mistakes, and he made you just as you are, and you need to realize for all the strengths that, you know, you have, and you need to be thankful. You know, Lord, I thank you for making me the way that you did. And I honestly, like, it was just one of the best things I've ever went through today. Like, just finally being like, I'm so hard on myself for who knows what reason. What, because I didn't have the right clothes and I wore my sister's tattered hand-me-downs in elementary school. I forever think I'm not good enough. What, because some scumbag guy, you know, put me through telling me I wasn't good enough, that I think that I'm happy now in a relationship. Why do I have that baggage? You know, so you kind of just go through and think about, who are they? Like, who are they to form my thoughts and make me think this way about myself. And so what I want you to do, and I actually posted this as a status today, she had me write down, you know, what do you think about, what do you worry about, you know, because I have a lot of anxiety. I say, I feel like I'm not good enough. All the time, I just feel like I'm not good enough. And she said, if you could tell yourself the opposite, what would that sound like? And so I just kind of rattled off a bunch of stuff and like tears the whole time. Like it was so crazy how I was like, oh my gosh, I'm crying, crazy person. I can't even help myself. But so when she had me write it down, and mine was, I am enough. I am smart, strong, beautiful, and caring, and I am worthy of love. And the last sentence is what like gets me the most. I am worthy of love. And that's where, you know, this is why I started this going, you know, to counseling, because I feel like I constantly have to have my husband reassure me, even though he shows me with acts of love, I have to hear him say, you know, these things to me. And I have to, you know, if he's quiet or if his love language, if you haven't read it and you're in a, you know, relationship or plan to be in a relationship, it's called The 5 Love Languages. And I love, love, love that book. So for me, my love language is words of affirmation. So for me, like that leadership board is so important for me, you know, like things like that. Like I love people telling me these things, and I need to hear that I need to have positive reinforcement that I'm doing okay. And that's why Beachbody is so great, because there's so much of that in Beachbody, and there was like none of that in any job I've ever been in before. So mine is words of affirmation. I need to hear that I'm doing a good job. I need to hear that, you know, he loves me, kind of thing. For him, his is like physical touch. Like if he walks by me and doesn't grab my butt, I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? You know? So like I was going through and saying, you know, what's wrong, or, you know, if he's tired or whatever. And sometimes people are just tired. Like you don't have to have an excuse. I just don't feel like talking. And I instantly take that as, oh, he's going to get sick of me. And it's just, you know, crazy thoughts in my head that I've kind of developed. So honestly, this has nothing to do with Beachbody, but it kind of still does, because, you know, when I put out a lot of my messages to my clients, it's usually like, don't compare yourself to others. You know, be the best version of you. And I tell people that all the time, because that is what I struggle with. And so I hope that's what you're doing too. You know, you're encouraging people. And a lot of times what comes out is things that you need reminded of. And so I just want you to focus on not just reminding other people, but knowing that you deserve to hear those things too. And so what I just read to you, that I am enough, I'm smart, you know, yada, yada. Honestly, like I'm putting it on a Post-it note and it's going on my bathroom mirror, and I'm saying it out loud to myself every time I brush my teeth. And I do this for my goals. I did this for my goals for Beachbody. I have things, I write them down, I put them everywhere, but I don't do this for my life, which is important. You know, it's not, honestly, everybody has a story. Everybody has something that they've struggled with, or that they, you know, people don't know about. People probably wouldn't know that I sit here and think like, oh my God, is my husband gonna leave me, because of past relationships I've had. So, you know, you don't have to put that stuff out there. But for me, being able to talk about it a little bit and get, you know, a target market out of that is so awesome. You know, when you are vulnerable and you tell people that you struggle with things, you're going to see so many people say, I just feel like you were speaking right to me. And it comes back to just sharing your story. You know, when you talk about things like this, that you're vulnerable, you can tie in your story with it, and you're going to see so many people relate to you. And so I just want you to not only be doing, you know, personal development, like, oh, I got to read the compound effects and I got to do this, but I want you to take Beachbody as another way to better yourself as an individual, and focus on those things that you're struggling with, and know that, you know, if somebody has an eating disorder, they're not going to feel better overnight. So just know that if you have this little nagging thought, whatever it is, like I look in the mirror and I think this, or, you know, whatever it is every day, work on that every day, because think about how freeing it would be if it was just not there in the morning. Because if you work at it, it can be gone. And, you know, you can take these steps and talk to them about to your clients too, and just kind of talk to them about the importance of, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to, you know, be 30 pounds lighter overnight, but every day you need to tell yourself, like, I said no to French fries yesterday, and even though I didn't work out, I said no to French fries. So celebrating the small victories and giving yourself a freaking break. You cannot be perfect all the time. You're human. You were put on this earth to be human. You are not Jesus. Like, you're not perfect. So give yourself a break, and don't think that you need to be perfect. And if you don't hit Success Club, 200, give yourself a break. As long as you're doing the best with what you can, that's fine. And like today, I kind of took all day off from Beachbody. I have probably like 25 messages I need to respond to, but I just felt it in my heart that I needed to just, like, I was kind of doing an audio book that was kind of exactly what I needed to hear today. And I just said, yeah, I really want to hit Success Club 10 by Friday so I can get a photo opportunity in Cancun, but do I want to feel good about myself right now, or do I want a photo opportunity? So, and I'm really driven by prizes, and I'm still just like, you just have to listen to yourself, and you just have to listen and take care of you. And, you do all this stuff for your clients, you do all this stuff for other people, and you feel good helping people, but, just know that you are just as important, and your feelings are just as important as your clients. And that was just kind of something that was like really tugging on my heart today, that I thought, I don't know if this is going to be helpful to you, but it honestly, like today, it was like a game changer. Like, I just had this huge weight lifted off my shoulder. Like, I don't have to sit here and tell myself I'm not good enough every day. I don't have to have this negative thing in my head that I have to say, no, I am. You can work at it, and it can go away. So I wanted to talk about that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, if you haven't, this is one of my favorite books. It's called Be a Recruiting Superstar by, I don't even know, Mary Christensen. And I love this book. I honestly want you to focus in April on recruiting, because I can't stress enough how much your business changes when you have teammates underneath you. You start to feel more like a leader. You start to feel more confident. You start to really see your paychecks change. You start to think that, okay, you have this amount, you have this circle of friends. But if you sign on a coach, they have this circle of friends. And you sign on another coach, they have this circle of friends. So you got to think, if I want to truly help people, I'm doing a disservice by only talking to my group of people about challenge packs versus getting on other people who can help change other lives. So, in the grand scheme of things, you're thinking, I don't care about Success Club points, because I'm going to think of those as those many lives changed. So as my team as a whole, the more Success Club points we can get, because I'm adding other coaches and they're adding, their circle of friends, that's so many more lives that you can change. And when it comes down to it, that's kind of exactly why you're in this business. That, and to make money. So building your team is the most important thing you can do, to build your income too. Because on the call last night, I said, I said like about 80% of my team, or of my weekly income, is from you guys. It's from what you guys are doing. And when you start, you're like, okay, I have to sell this many challenge packs to get this, this amount of money. But when you start building your team and you start seeing that cycle bonus go up, you're like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I'll take an extra $50 a week or whatever it is. I mean, if it's freaking $14 a week, who cares? It's $14, it adds up, So just really focus on building your team. And I want you to go through your list, and I want you to star anybody that you think will be a good coach, and make it a point to talk to them in April. And I talked to Samantha earlier about this, so you're going to get this again. But basically what I do is I compliment them, give them a sincere compliment, like, hey girl, you're so positive, you're so uplifting, I just love your posts, and I love that you participate in our groups, and I don't know if you're interested or not, but I've been thinking about you for weeks, and I just think you would make an amazing coach. Have you ever thought about doing what I do as a coach? And I use that line every single time. So you give them a compliment, you say, I've been thinking about this for a while, I think you make an amazing coach, have you ever thought about doing what I do as a coach? And then from there, they'll either say like, oh, maybe, or I don't really know, what do you do? And I don't overload them with information. I say, well, basically, I encourage others while I'm working on myself, and it's cool, and it's fun, and it's rewarding. But I tend to ramble a lot, so if I send you a video that describes it better than I can, Would you be interested in checking it out? And so then I send them either the 20-minute video or Kelly's like 45-minute webinar, depending. I kind of like the webinar a little more now. One, because she talks about me in the story, and two, it's a little more personal because it's our team. And so I say, it's about 45 minutes. When could you check it out by? And then they say, oh, you know, whenever. And then you schedule a time to get on the phone to say, okay, great. Well, let me get on the phone with you. I'll answer your questions, see if it's for you or not. No big deal either way. But it'll just be easier to chat on the phone. I always say, no big deal either way, because I have literally, even since I've been a Beachbody coach, gotten on the phone with like Mary Kay people and stuff, because I feel bad saying no, and they like guilt me into it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to sell Mary Kay, but I just felt bad saying no, you know. So I don't want to pressure anybody into it. I say, you know, no big deal either way, you know, just let me know. And so I schedule the appointment, I get their phone number, I give them mine, and then I say, okay, great, here's the link. I don't send them the link until I have an appointment and their phone number. And then, you know, when I do call, there's a file in our group. It's called the Eric Worre 6-question close, or it might just say 6-question close, but it's awesome. And basically what I do is I get on the phone with them, I talk to them a little bit, chit-chat a little bit, and then I say, okay, so tell me what you like best about what you saw. And you're not like, so tell me what you think, because they are going to say, like, they're going to try to get out of it. And they're going to try to, usually, they're like, oh, well, you know, I don't really think it's for me. It was great. But so when you say, tell me what you like best, you're like selling them. And then I say, well, I like that, you know, you can get your products paid for, yada, yada. Okay, great. Yeah. Tell me what else you liked about that. And so I get a little bit more out of them. And then I say, okay, well, yeah, I totally love that part about that too. You know, the discount is super awesome, or, you know, whatever. And then I say, okay, so hypothetically, if you're to join us, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to sign up? 1 being not interested at all, which obviously isn't you, or you wouldn't be talking to me on the phone, or 10 being ready to get started right now. Where would you say you are? And I honestly, I think anything over a 6 or above is good. And if somebody would say like, oh, like maybe a 7 or 8, I say, okay, cool. So sounds like you have some reservations. You know, what are you kind of thinking of why, what's holding you back? And I'll get to the objections after. I'm just going to keep going through the script. So then I would answer their objections, and I'll get to that when I finish. So I talk to them a little bit about that, and then I say, okay, so, you know, hypothetically, how much money would you need to make a month for it to be worth your while? And so say they say $200. Okay, awesome. So how many hours a week are you willing to put in to get that income? Maybe like 7 to 10 hours. Okay, cool. You know, it's not going to happen right away, but that's definitely $200 a month definitely is doable. How many months are you willing to, you know, put in giving 10 hours a week to get to that $200 a month goal? And so maybe they'll say maybe 4 to 6. And then this is like the kicker. You say, okay, so if I could show you how to make $200 a month, working 10 to 15 hours a week over the course of the next, I forgot what I said, 4 months, would you be ready to get started with us? And they're going to be like, yeah, because that's exactly what they just said they wanted. So the only objection you might get is, yes, I just have to wait till payday or whatever. But for the most part, they're going to be like, yeah, that sounds good, because it's literally what they just told you. So a couple objections you might get for either coaching or like the product, but primarily coaching, is I'm not fit enough, or I couldn't be a coach. Who would want me to be a coach? And so from that, I say, actually, you make the best coach, because you know what it's like to struggle. You know what it's like to go back and forth. You know what it's like to just, you know, not be at that goal and be trying everything. So it's pretty cool, because you right there have so many people to relate to you in your struggles. And I would rather have a coach that knows what I'm going through versus a coach that enjoys exercising 3 hours a day and doesn't even crave carbs or chocolate. You know, that would be disgusting to me. I want somebody that, you know, has my similar, you know, issues. And so that's that objection. If somebody says, I don't have the time, I always say, well, girl, I totally understand that. And so you use the feel, felt, found method. And so when somebody gives you an objection, you say, I totally understand how you feel. I felt the same way, or my friend felt the same way, but this is what she found. So feel, felt, found works for any objection. You emphasize with them, you tell them a testimonial and how it worked out for them. So if somebody says time, I say, girl, I had 3 jobs when I first started. You know, all of you can give a testimonial of how busy you are and how you make it work. So one of my favorite testimonials I do right now is Nicole. Her last name starts with an R. Ruben, I forget how to say it. She's one of Misty's coaches. She owns her own business and has 5 kids and is rocking her business. So I tell everybody her story because I'm like, I have a girl that has 5 kids, which is a feat in its own, and she owns her own business, and she does really well with Beachbody, and she is in it for the long haul. So if she can do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. Because, like, when somebody thinks, like, oh, my gosh, if somebody with 5 kids can do it, like, and I can't, like, there's something wrong with me, so I should be able to do this, you know? So I always give a testimonial. So you always need to kind of be listening for other testimonials that you can use, or just use your own, because I'm sure you have, like, time constraints and things like that. The last one is the money. And you can always use my story, because I tell people, yeah, I totally understand. I had $7 in my bank account, and it was going to be negative the next day, and I put it on my credit card, and it was the best thing I've ever done. And I was able to pay it off plus some the first month I did it. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but I was determined to not create extra debt from that, and I made it happen. So if I can, you totally can. So, you know, and I tell people, you know, I had $7 to my name. I paid for my wedding. I quit my stupid job, and I make what I used to make in 2 weeks, in 1 week, now working from home doing something I love. And so, like, just tell people that story, and they're going to be like, really? Okay. And then I say, and you have 30 days. If it doesn't work for you, you can return it, you can give your money back, no big deal. With money, another thing I tell, and you probably heard me say this, and I've probably said it to you to get you to sign on, is my best friend Laura. She paid $25,000 to buy a franchise for a kids fitness franchise. And that was literally just for her to say, I own a franchise of Stretch and Grow. And I made more money than she did, and I paid $180, I think, to sign up. So I always tell people that. I'm like, I paid $180 for products that I use, that I, you know, replaced 1 meal a day with, I worked out for, I got results, and my best friend paid $25 grand to buy a franchise, and that's it, and I make more money than she does. So it's pretty awesome. And she since had to sell that business back. I think she just barely made even or even lost some on it. So, you know, it's just pretty cool to say we own our own business and paid less than $200 to start. And so I always use, and I encourage you, and you can just say, my friend Laura. Nobody's going to be like, well, what's her social security number? You know, so feel free to, you know, say that story too. So honestly, with objections, feel, felt, found, and just use testimonials. And people want to hear that. People want to hear that it works. And when you can encourage them and tell them otherwise, they're going to be like, all right, yeah, you're right. And Jesse's on. I did that with Jessie. She gave me the, I don't think I'm fit enough. And, you know, I actually got on the phone with her because I said, hey, will you do me a favor and watch this webinar? I just need some breakfast or something. And she was like, really nice. She was from Instagram, and she got on, and she was like, well, I thought it was great. And she wasn't expecting me to try to get her to be a coach at all. And by the end, she's like, I'm going to call my dad and see if I can borrow money, you know? So as long as you emphasize with people and you're just like, no, you'll be awesome, you know, boost their confidence, compliment them, and just assure them, because a lot of people just need reassured that they're going to be fine. And that's kind of all I had to talk about today. So, so let's see if you guys have any questions now, because we've got 10 minutes left. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. Does anybody have any questions?
Working?
Go ahead.
Oh, hey, I can talk. Hi. So how do you approach people who are like really fit already? You know, they're really inspiring, even maybe to you. Mm-hmm. They have something different that works for them, whether they're just meatheads and go to the gym all the time, or maybe they use a different protein shake that they really love. Because I have a couple people who I would love to talk about coaching, but they found something different that works for them. And I think they would be amazing.
No, yeah, I get that, because I have some people like that too. And basically, you just, same thing, compliment them. Hey, I don't know if this is for you or not, but I just have to tell you, you're so inspiring, and I just love your posts, and I look forward to them every day. And, you know, it's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying being a coach because I get to, you know, inspire other people and actually give them the tools to use it in their house. And, you know, it's really cool and feels really fulfilling. I don't know if you're interested or not, but, you know, I'd love for you to just check it out and see if it's for you. If it is, cool. If not, no big deal. And what I tell people is, honestly, like for the first like year and a half, I was not consistent with workouts. I was a runner or going to the gym, and here and there I would do a workout. Like before the 21-day fix, I didn't actually finish one workout. I don't think I finished Body Combat, that I did when I first signed on, and that's it. So I just tell people, like, I was a huge gym rat for a really long time, and now I absolutely love the workouts, and I do them every day. I do a little bit of my own cross training too, but honestly, I follow the schedule and I love it. But I still was successful when I wasn't doing them. So it's still possible. I know that more of my success comes from being a product of the product more now, but I was still making decent money when I wasn't doing it too. So just, you can just use me as an example. You know, there's actually plenty of coaches that still go to the gym and love their gym, but it's nice to have something for a rainy day or for a busy day. So just kind of reiterating that way. Anybody else? Anything you're struggling with or just not sure how to respond to or anything? Are you good?
Well, I will let you know that you almost made me cry with your story about your counseling session. That's like what goes through my head, kind of, because I did the whole hand-me-down thing and all that fun, super great stuff. So, yay!
Yay! And honestly, I mean, I encourage everybody to look into counseling. You don't have to be like a freaking psychotic freakazoid to go to counseling. You know, like I've done it a couple of times in my life, and I mean, if you have freaking insurance, you just pay a copay and you go. It's amazing. So I honestly, like, it's the best thing I've ever done. I feel so much better just already. And I I'll probably go for another, 2 months or something. And I've only gone twice. And I honestly have a woman crush on this counselor. Like, I love her so much. She's so perfect. And that's the thing too, is if you do go, she's the second person I went to, but make 2 or 3 appointments. Because if you go and you don't click with somebody, it's not going to be worth it. So, that's the other thing too. You have to go and find somebody that you click with. But honestly, I just think that counseling is so important for so many people. And because we all have those thoughts in our head, and it's just our society. It's the way, if we're not this body type, or if we aren't rich enough, or we don't have this, we all have things that we compare. And you can get better. I am a million times better now than I was, in college, when I was just considered myself worthless, but I'm still not where I want to be. And it's the same thing as your fitness goals. You can't just think oh, well, I'm not there yet and I don't want to work on it. There's some people where they're I don't want to start because I just don't even know where to start. I've got so far to go. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And I also compared that to spirituality, because I grew up, my mom has a really funky religion, and it kind of screwed up my whole understanding of a lot of things. And I have to retrain my thoughts that that's hers. I don't have to, believe those thoughts, kind of things. And so I kind of think about that with religion too. Sometimes I get so overwhelmed with all these things I'm confused about, and you don't have to know all the answers. As long as you're going through and you're starting somewhere and you're learning and you're growing each day, whether it be yourself, personal development, counseling, spiritual, whatever, as long as you just start somewhere with whatever you're struggling with and do little bits each day, you're going to be better. And that's why I love this business so much, is honestly, like, I don't know if I would have sought out counseling. I don't know if I would have been doing personal development books to make me feel better and about as a person and in my relationship. So, you know, to just be blessed with a freaking business that makes you want to be a better person and makes you want to work on so many different aspects of your life is just like so freaking cool to me. So yeah, and don't think that your personal development just has to be Beachbody. You know, I consider some days I don't feel like reading how to recruit more coaches, and I'm going to read something from like Crash the Chatterbox or, you know, something spiritual, and it's still going to make me want to be better. So don't like put too much stress on yourself that I have to do this, I have to do this, because sometimes when I sit down to read, I feel bad. I'm like, I should be doing something for work, and you just have to say, no, I'm going to do whatever's best for me, you know, right now. So yeah, just kind of focus on where you can find to help yourself in so many different areas. And that's going to help you be a better coach too. You know, when you teach yourself how to love yourself more and how to really, you know, stop the negativity, you're going to be able to help other people too. So, I don't know if any of you two, you know, follow Dave Ramsey or budgeting or anything like that. And I just kind of thought of this randomly. A great freemium would be to maybe do like a budgeting 101 or like something like that. And I think if you guys got together and did something as a group, that would be great to give like to challengers, or you could do like a 3-week budgeting, you know, group, or you could do like a 3-week, like, you know, savings or something like that. So, you know, kind of get creative and try to figure out some free stuff that you want to give to your clients that's going to get more people interested. You know, if you made a post on Instagram like, hey, if you want my budgeting 101 ebook, you know, message me or add me to Facebook and message me. Do you know how many freaking people are going to be like, oh my God, give it to me right now? So think about things like that, because my meal plan did that for me, but it was supposed to be me typing and I just like looked like a bunny. So think about other ways to get more people to Facebook and to get more people on eyes on you. So we've got about 2 minutes left. Does anybody else have any questions? No, I need to upgrade my Zoom. Hopefully that'll make me figure it out. Okay. Leah, it's so cute. Okay, well, I can't take you all right now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so we don't get cut off. And so we won't have a team call tomorrow because we're going to go car shopping, and I appreciate you kind of jumping on tonight last minute. But that's the other thing that I so love about this business is that, like, you know, my husband's schedule is crazy. And if I was still working, like every day, literally, he was sleeping when I left and I was sleeping when he got home. And now I can say, like, it's Thursday, sorry team, but I'm going to spend time with my husband. And I know you guys understand that, because I know that we all have very similar values and that we want to make people happy. You know, your family, your friends are important to you. So, you know, and I just want you to know that you can do that in your business and you can still make your family and your values a priority. So I'm going to get cut off. So thank you guys so much for jumping in, and I will post the recording and tag your success buddies or coaches in this. And I hope you got something out of it and I wasn't just blabbing today. So yay. Okay. Bye guys. Have a good night. Thank you so much. See ya.